Welcome to Joe the Lawyer. Today, we're going to take a look at an article from Above the Law called Prosecutor Live Tweets Trial Against Pro Se Defendant. Okay, when I saw this title, I smiled. I started to laugh. The subtitle is Spoiler Alert, the state is going to win. So I'm going to run through this article with you, and then I'm going to give you my personal opinions on it. It's funny and interesting. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I'm Joe Pometto, Joe the Lawyer. Here on this channel, we cover legal news, legal topics, and do legal analysis of stuff happening in the real world. If you like my content, please like, subscribe, comment, and share. If you do that, it lets YouTube know that people are watching, and it helps drive my ranking. So it's a free way to support this show, which will always remain free. Okay, so the article starts. It says, on the one hand, the idea of prosecutors using social media to troll criminal defendants feels problematic. I agree. On the other hand, this is hilarious. I also agree. The anonymous Twitter handle @MotionToLit took to Twitter to keep us all up to date on his latest trial. In a sense, this is just the 21st century equivalent of the deeply democratic principle of keeping court proceedings open to all, though it does seem like exclusively hearing the prosecution's running commentary skews things a bit. And in case you guys don't know, court proceedings are public. Pretty much anybody can go in and sit down. Now, not everybody, you can't record in every courtroom, but you can sit, you can watch, there will be transcripts, you can order them, take a look at them, it's all public. So the first tweet that we see from this guy, he calls himself Saint Brick Bro Esquire, @MotionToLit. It says, jury trial with a defendant representing himself. It's already wild and we haven't picked a jury yet, LOL. Now, I understand where he's coming from because I see pro defendants in court all the time, pro se defendants in court all the time, and I'll give you my personal opinions once we get through the article. The article continues, I have mixed feelings about the pro se world. I agree wholeheartedly with the critiques forwarded by Judge Posner and James Sandman. Judge Posner is a very well-respected legal scholar, that the courts are unduly hostile to litigants, making justice functionally inaccessible as the cost of legal representation continues to rise. Though I also agree with Judge Posner that a lot of pro se litigants are vexatious cranks. For instance, people like sovereign citizens. Okay. In the criminal context, where even indigent defendants, which means poor, very poor, can get access to attorneys, the only people who go it alone are folks who have devoted a lot of time and energy to becoming a proficient armchair lawyer and people who are about to crash and burn. This is the story of that second type, and I've seen both of those types. I'll tell you more. So somebody replied to his Twitter, said, I hope he or she calls themselves as a witness and then presents himself on the stand. I'm envisioning some hilarious back and forth on that. Ha ha. Saint Brick Bro, who's the prosecutor, says, dude, he got up for his turn during voir dire, which is jury selection, and literally said, well, since the state wasted so much time. I like that one. I'm on board with that one. In fairness, based on how the rest of this story goes, the state probably did waste a lot of time on voir dire. That's the journalist saying that. Okay, the next tweet says, update, defendant said only a fool would represent himself at trial. Defendant is representing himself. That's like, how do you get up there and say only a fool represent himself at trial? Oh, you're telling the jury you're a fool. Next one says, next tweet, lunch recess update. Defendant's opening goes, well, the video is impaired. I'm impaired, so it's a stalemate. Like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, he's impaired. He's telling the jury that he's impaired during the trial. We'll get to that. I think what he's trying to say, I hope, is that the prosecution claimed that defendant's testimony was unreliable. But if the video evidence is inconclusive, then the prosecution has failed to meet its burden. But since this appears to be a drunk driving case, this might not be the most felicitous phrasing. I don't even know what that word means. Felicitous? Next tweet, trial update. I think I've renewed 30 objections on cross-examination. Oh man, I can only imagine. Next, trial update. Forgot to mention, defendant was in a full champion tracksuit. Yes. The article continues. Remember when the guy showed up to his own disbarment proceeding dressed as Thomas Jefferson? Maybe I'll cover that story. Or the lawyers who tried to get away with pajamas or nothing at all. I think we can cut the defendant some slack for a tracksuit, though why anyone would want to look like Polly Walnuts in front of a jury is beyond me. That's pretty funny. The defendant was found guilty on all counts, probably because he admitted to drinking 3 shots and 2 beers. Okay, and then the prosecutor, he tweeted later a picture of a bottle of Hennessy, and he put in quotes, 3 shots of Henny and 2 beers. This is what the defendant admitted to drinking. So the prosecutor I sat with at trial bought this for me to celebrate. They bought him a bottle of Hennessy. Like, that is hilarious. So this guy, he likely admitted to drinking to the police officer. Well, they can use that statement against you at trial, okay? Regardless if some of their other evidence is deficient, if they have an admission of drinking alcohol, dude, you are likely done. So I really got a kick out of this, and that's because for a couple of reasons. Let's cover a couple things real quick. Is number one, I've seen many pro se litigants in court, okay? One of the most bizarre and sort of troubling things that I saw was a man who was accused of sexual assault, and he was representing himself, and so he was cross-examining the witnesses against him, all right? And the witness against him was a female who he had allegedly sexually assaulted. Now imagine being in that situation where you're the victim, okay, being cross-examined by the person who sexually assaulted you in the court of law. Now those rights are protected fundamentally under the Constitution, but we're talking about a very that's got to be a tough or traumatic experience. Luckily, there's judges, there's attorneys, there are sheriff's deputies in the courtroom to stop things from getting crazy and out of hand. But I watched a trial like that with the pro se litigant, and I thought it was, little bit troubling. I've also seen a situation where an attorney who was accused of a crime represented himself. So he was a lawyer representing himself pro se. That happens a lot when lawyers get sued or lawyers end up as, oh, I'm going to handle this. They don't want to hire an attorney. Listen, what this guy said in this article, only a fool represents himself. If I get in legal trouble, all right, I'm hiring an attorney, and I am an attorney, okay? Do the smart thing. But I will say also, I agree with what the writer of this article says, that judges oftentimes give pro se, and pro se means representing yourself, okay? Oftentimes give people representing themselves a really hard time, and I don't think that's fair. I've seen some judges take extra care with those individuals, and I really, really respect that. But I've seen, one time I was in motions court, okay? And what'll happen in motions court, it's kind of like, it's kind of hilarious. There'll be 100 attorneys waiting to do 5-minute motions. And so you get all these attorneys sitting in this room watching each person go up one by one after one, another after another after another. And I actually pay attention because I feel like I can learn something in those moments. But one time I was in motions court, and a gentleman walked in, and he had like, I just, very baggy pants, like a big jacket, gold chains and everything, like looked very flashy, kind of, I don't know, maybe looked like a pimp or something. And he walked up and he presented a motion like a champ. Like he presented this motion, and it was opposed by an attorney, and the guy, in the tracksuit, okay, beat the attorney. The judge listened to his arguments. He had better arguments, and he overruled the attorney. And that guy walked out of there like a boss. I mean, if it was a different setting, I would have given him a round of applause. He did great. So if you're going to be a pro se litigant and represent yourself, prepare, be ready, have your argument prepared, go in with a notebook and a couple pieces of paper and show them what's up, okay? If you appears like you know what you're talking about, the court and everyone there will instantly respect you. So I do think courts should give pro se litigants a little more time. This guy, I don't know if this guy said that he was drunk in court, but if you say you're drunk while you're in court, you better believe the jury is going to believe that you were drunk when you picked up that DUI. And, prosecutors, as a defense attorney and a private lawyer, I don't have to deal with pro se litigants that often, people representing themselves. Sometimes I do on family law cases. In criminal, really the only people who are going to get that are prosecutors, and sometimes they'll get sovereign citizens, okay, who get up there, say the law doesn't apply to me, the Constitution's invalid, da 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 da, and that's just gotta be the worst. And to go through entire trials like that, I've heard stories from prosecutors. But I really got a kick out of this. This prosecutor went on and live tweeted this trial. I'll be on. I don't. As a prosecutor, you work for the government. I don't know if you're allowed to do that. Okay. Here's the thing, though. Those proceedings are all public, so you can share public proceedings. Attorneys keep everything private, okay, and confidential. But if it happens in a trial or open court, it's public knowledge, and lawyers can talk about it. So I got a kick out of this article. I hope you did too. I will leave a link in the description below. Thank you for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share to pump up my channel. Let me know people are watching and you're enjoying my content. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe and notification so you know when I'm making new videos. Thank you for tuning in. Joe Pometto, Joe the Lawyer, out.